Hi, this is Rick Harsh, uh, delivering on the promise I made in my last video to do one on David Vardeman reading Dan Brown. Now, David Vardeman, if you don't know, is one of Corona Samizdat's greatest finds. We published his first book, which is called An Angel of Sodom. It's a short story of about 100 pages in the pocket format, and 13 other stories. And I think I'm having trouble with the lighting, and maybe I'll use that to prop up. Yeah, okay, that book's propping up the camera. All right. So the next book we put out by him is a flip book, and it's called Suddenly This Summer, and that's a short novel, and an even shorter novel, and one of my favorites is April is the Cruelest Month. Let me just read the opening sentence, which I've done before, but I just love to do it. Allbelly came into Uncle Milty's around 7 p.m. and said, "Hey, you guys, yesterday Eddie Papoul strangled his crooked-headed mama and then shot himself in the head in a car at the bottom of Van Vechten Park." "Why Van Vechten Park?" said Dietrich. And it goes on from there. Why Van Vechten Park? That'd be my first reaction. If Eddie Papoul was my friend, shot his crooked-headed mama. The next one we published was one that I reminded Vardeman that I had read in about 2005. It's a play about Cotton Mather. It's called Letters of Thanks from Hell, and it features the same artist as the other books, only in this, I don't know if you get the look, here, yeah. It's hard to see. I'm going to get a light one of these days. And then finally, it took him a while, he came up with this monster, Suggestion Diabolique, which is a collection of 5 or 4 short novels and a short story, I guess we'd have to call it. And it features my very favorite work of Vardeman called Easter, which I think is an extraordinary work. So David Vardeman once told me that he picked up Dan Brown's, I don't know what the name of it was, his first book, the one that made Dan Brown rich and famous and puts to shame all other writers in the only way that matters. It sold more and made more money, and it even gave Tom Hanks something to do, you know. You'd think that someone like, Tom Hanks seems like a nice guy when you see interviews of him, and seems like an intelligent guy. You'd think he'd look at a book like this and say, why the fuck would I want to be in something like this? Well, for money. So Tom Hanks is as bankrupt as Dan Brown. Now, Vardeman bought Dan Brown's book, his first book, just to see what is this that everybody loves so much. And he read, he's not sure now. I just interviewed him about this. And so he may be wrong, but he's so right. He was reading the first page, and as he remembered it, one of the characters was getting shot. And Dan Brown wrote, "No." Like, no, no, no. "No," he said slowly. Vardeman said, I just put the book down then, and that was it. So, he made it onto the first page of Dan Brown, and then just saw something so inept, so stupid, that he put it down. But this is the world we live in. And, that this is the world we live in. What do I mean by that? Well, I think I've already explained. But another thing I want to explain is that there's something very, very ugly going on in this world as well. And it has to do with, or my best example about the insidious nature of our commodified culture is the masterclass. And that was what got me started doing videos on this. What I guess now it's a BookTube channel, but I started when I saw master classes being advertised on YouTube. I had the emetic response, but I didn't actually. What I vomited was about a YouTube video a day for about half a year. Something would come to my mind every day because it just made me sick to see these supposedly great authors, Salman Rushdie, Joyce Carol Oates, and then directors, Martin Scorsese. They were teaching master classes. You could sign up for a master class in any of the arts, and probably many other things as well. A master class in taxidermy was probably, and that might be useful. I have no idea. But a master class in writing, such a thing is not legitimate. It's not possible. There is no class for writing. The only class for writing is life. And, of course, writers befriend each other and help each other in various ways. I still, to this day, send everything I write to Vardeman because he's one of my best readers, and he's honest. He'll tell me if something strikes him as absurd or whatever in the wrong way, and so he's a great reader for me. This is the master class. This is what a master class is. It's living and working with other writers and readers and people who you have something in tune with, and like for instance the master class that I gave Philip Friedenberg. I'll explain that one to you. If you don't know the story, I had written the Manifold Destiny of Eddie Vegas, and it was selling pretty well. I got a good review from Chris Villa, who did a second review later when it was bought by Zero Gram Press. And Friedenberg wrote me he wanted to buy it. Back then, to buy a book, we didn't have a web page. You just had to write me and give me your address, and I'd send you the book. And somehow, Friedenberg and I recognized in each other kindred spirits. And a brief exchange led to him saying that while he's waiting for my book to come, this was at a time when I had no idea how long it was ever going to take for a book to arrive anywhere. Now we've got the mail system all figured out. It costs too much, but it's fairly regular by now. And so Friedenberg said, I'm going to write a novel about a guy who orders your novel and is waiting for it. And I said, okay, I'll publish it. And that was the masterclass. To this day, if you listen to Friedenberg, he'll give me much more credit than I deserve. But I recognized that Friedenberg was a writer. I could tell. I didn't have to see the examples of his prose. I could tell this guy was going to write a great book. I had no question in my mind. And it happened. America and the Cult of the Cactus Boots, a diagnostic, is it is the most successful in terms of sales that our press has put out. And I don't mean to undermine my point about the sales, because he's still not going to get rich, and neither am I. But what Friedenberg's book has done is make enough money for the press to put out people like David Vardeman, whose books still don't sell all that well. I don't have the numbers, but this year he's going to get his first ever, at the age of 60 more than me, 64 is me, he's 65 or 6, and he's going to get his first royalty check as a writer. Us old fuckers are still plugging away. I'm also working on a book. It's called The Odious Sea. And I had this feeling like, I'm not sure about that book. I'm going to go back and fix it. And I went back and reread the first chapter, and I thought, fuck, it doesn't need to be fixed. It's just right. I wasn't sure. When it opens with someone yelling, Potemkin! And it's very funny in context. And it works. It makes sense. And the book is just what I wanted it to be. So now the task is to continue. I'm on chapter 4, and we'll see how that goes. But the other thing about the masterclass is that it has now become a fucking cliche. When someone does something really well, it is now said that Djokovic gave him a masterclass in tennis. And Jack Smith presented a masterclass to Trump's lawyers. And it's used in all aspects of communication these days. And it was always rot. The idea is rot. The idea, it's a fucking scam. And, I've lost the respect that I have for Martin Scorsese is limited to the films of his that I think were masterpieces. Rushdie, he lost my attention years ago when his books started to suck. And so that didn't matter. Joyce Carol Oates, well, people like that are always going to be around to nauseate us. So anyway, masterclass, that's the insidious nature of the masterclass, the commodification of. And I'm giving you a masterclass in the insidious nature of commodification. Yeah, I hope you're getting it, because this is my last masterclass. I'm retiring from masterclasses. You can skip this in 4 days. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, because it's very important. I see this on everything I watch on YouTube now. Hit the like and subscribe, and because it's very important to us. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like and subscribe. But if you really want to help me, send me thousands of euros. That'll help me a lot more than hitting the like and subscribe. So what I'm really asking of you is give me lots of money. All right? Thank you. And there will be no funeral for the masterclass unless I can find someone who can, give me a masterclass in funerals.